Because if you want to fly a drone like this, DJI O4 Lite, this is what that is. This isn't the DJI O4 Pro, this is the Lite, this is the cheaper version. This camera system alone is, I think, 120 bucks, give or take, depending on where you go in order. But in order to get this DJI O4 functioning on a flight board or an Allo flight controller, such as this little drone here, 3 inches or under usually, I think. I'm still new at this. But you have to plug it into the DJI Assistant 2 Consumer Drone Series apps in order to program it and make sure that it's activated with the flight controller in coercion with the ELRS, I believe. But here, I got a notebook, 15 old, I think it's like 10 years old. I just reformatted my whole thing. But I downloaded the DJI Assistant 2 Consumer Drone Series app. And I'm going to let that thing do its thing. I'm going to pause it. Why is my cursor not cursing? Pause. Oh, it's down here. Well, so I thought. Huh. Maybe it just takes a second. That's where I'm at, trying to get set up on this old computer. I think I gotta pause it. But the best thing to do with an old laptop like this, or a notebook 15 this is, once you download something, you should probably restart it before you start negotiating with the system. Well, I restarted my computer. I was expecting to see Consumer Drones, DJI Assistant 2 right there, but I don't. So I'm gonna go down to this folder here. Then you need to go to downloads over here, and you go to the DJI 2 Assistant Consumer Drone Series. I believe double click it. Don't you get a ticket? Now that I restarted my computer, this old little beast will probably run it. Okay. Run it. See, I'm having a problem right here. Why is this not downloading? Yes. Huh, pause. Guess I had to double click it properly. But this one, it just kind of freezes right there. Make sure my shit's plugged in because it needs all the power it can get. Alright, finally got it going to here again. So we're a little bit further this time than last time. Every time you do a major change on especially an older computer, you want to restart it. I don't read all that. Who does? I just hit next, desktop, yep. And now I am downloading. Well, I downloaded the program, now I'm installing it onto the computer, creating a desktop, and then I'm going to restart it, and then I'm going to sign on, and then I'm going to check my DJI Goggles 3 and my DJI drones to make sure the O4s don't need to be updated and whatnot, what have you. Nor here nor there. Just glad you're watching. Glad to have you. But I was down and out without a drone. For a while, there was a scarcity. Still is. It's called money. Being disabled, having no income. Bumming it. For a year and a half. Government sucks. Never get a job full time if you're disabled. Fucks your whole life up. So then you see this big old screen here pop up. It's populating all the goods. And that's it, folks. DJI Assistant 2 Consumer Drone Series setup finished. Now what you want to do is let it finish. That's what she said. Pause. Alright, I'm pausing because now I can see my DJI Assistant 2 desktop shortcut there. But then this thing just pops up out of nowhere. Do you want to allow public and private networks to access this app? I'm not sure. But I'm going to allow. Because I know I have nothing to hide. But when you fly in drones, open source, ELRS, things like that, can pose threats to your laptop if you have very important shit on there. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not a pro. So now I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to agree to this, agree to that. Data authorization, data account information for device activation, firmware upgrade, data upload, and other services. You want to put that on. DJI device it for device activation and data upload services. You want to put that on. So when you buy a new camera and whatnot, when you plug it in, they will recognize it if you buy it directly from the factory, from what I understand. But if you buy a DJI O4 camera system, not direct from DJI, then sometimes the data is not within their assistant. You don't have to activate it with them, from what I understand. But insurance policies, the warranties and whatnot, if you want a camera that's covered, you want to buy it right from the factory for sure. Product improvement programs, sure. And that's it. Now you just plug in your smart cable, data cable, and you plug in your drone. Now, I'm just going to plug in my data cable right there into the DJI system. Right into the DJI. Hold on. Once you plug it in, it'll light up. And on your computer, it makes a little noise. And then, oh, there it is. Just pops up right there, DJI O4. You want to allow public and private networks to access this app. Then click on your DJI. You really want a fan under here, or it could get too hot depending on what drone you got. But it looks like I'm current, it says. But I'm still going to refresh. And that's all you do. Once it's all done there, you have to make sure your goggles 3, DJI goggles 3, are on the same updated versions. So I'm on the most updated version for the DJI O4 system itself. But now I have to make sure the DJI goggles 3 are on the same page. Once this is done, I'm going to plug in my goggles to find out. So I'm going to pause this. Takes a couple minutes at most. Every time I've done this, no more than 2 minutes that I've seen on this old computer, maybe 3. But it's V10300 is the most updated 04. Light. Pause. I haven't been flying this one either because I got a short right there, and I'm hesitant on taking these wires off the board because I have not done that successfully yet with the soldering skills that I possess. So I'm thinking about just cutting that wire and soldering them together. Shortcut, just so I have something to fly and don't ruin my one and only. But I do have some things coming. So it did the 100%, now it's doing the transmitting. That's the faster part, actually. 11 minutes into the video. Pause. Now it's actually doing the updating. Even though it said I was already up to date, by refreshing it, I'm securing my next flight. Indefinitely. Or something like that. Definitely, not indefinitely. Pause. But it should blink a little bit while it's doing this. But you really should have this under a fan, or a fan blowing on it. Internal storage, do you select to choose what happens? I don't know. Alright, so once you're complete, don't just pull that out. You probably could, but I always hit the back button. Then I let it load, and then I make sure I'm still current there. And then we're good to go. Then I unplug it. Now we'll go grab the Goggles 3. So I got my Goggles 3 here. I don't think I have to turn them on. Let's find out. But I'm just going to plug this in. Plugged it in using the same data cable as I did my drone. Now let's see if it just pops up and populates. Or I may have to... Huh. Nothing seems to be happening. Pause. Alright, so now I turn my goggles on. I don't think you can do that with it off. I thought I could, but now that they're on, now you plug it in to the same data. And it pops up right there. My setup's kind of weird because I'm laying in my bed. So you click on the DJI Goggles 3, because that's what I'm using. Click. Okay. Click, click, boom. Up. So then it loads. And you see, it says that I am latest version. No, the latest version is 1300. My current version right now is 1000. Now before I update it, I want to click on the release notes to see what it says. Added support for DJI Avatar 360. If you're into Avatar 360, fix some known issues. So it's not a big deal if you don't update. Okay. I am going to upgrade. And that, my friends, is how you download DJI Assistant 2 consumer drones for these types of FPV drones. And that is how you update your DJI system, camera system, and then you gotta match it by updating the DJI Goggles 3. Make sure they're both on the most updated protocols possible. And this shouldn't take too long. I'm going to pause it. Still going. It went through 100%. Download, now it's actually doing the updating. Yeah, this part could take a few minutes. It already has. So I'm going to pause it. And when it was all done, she made a beeping sound effect. But it's not totally done, 86%. But you hear it making a couple noises, finishing up. Version 01.00 1300, 100%. That's what I like to see. Now again, I'm not just going to unplug my goggles. I am going to hit the back button. Now I am current. Now I can unplug. So my goggles are still on. Most people would reset it by turning it power off and on. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to see if I can plug it in and see if this wire has a short, so it may not work as expected. But you should be able to plug it right in.